Let's now create endpoints on our app. We will be using the same setup as for the previous part: Ubuntu 22.04, Poetry as the package manager, and Python 3.10. We will create two endpoints: a get endpoint that will return a fixed response, and a post endpoint that will take as parameters a token, a challenge, and a type text parameter, and will simply return the challenge parameter. Let's create an app in our Django project. We will call the app API. Let's install this app into our Django settings. So inside the install apps, we need to add our API app. Let's create a serializer for the payload of our post endpoint. So here is the serializer with the three parameters of our post endpoint, and we create a view set for the two endpoints that we want to create. So here in our view set we have our get endpoint that will always return a OK response, and our post endpoint that will take our payload as parameter and will return the challenge parameter. Let's then create the router for this view, and let's configure the router for the view set. So no prefix for this one. We'll then add this router into our global URLs and import the include function from Django. Everything is now ready. We can start our server and see on our server if our endpoints are working. So if we go to API/testget, we will see here our OK response from the get view, and we can also try out the post endpoint. So for this we will need to get our example payload, paste it here, post, and we see that the endpoint is only returning the challenge parameter. So everything seems to be working on our server. Let's now write some automated tests for these views. So we can stop our server and write tests. So we will first test the get endpoint, make sure that it returns a string containing OK, and the post endpoint, making sure that if we give it the right parameters, it will only return the value of the challenge parameter. So let's now run our tests using PyTest, and we see our two tests passed. And so if we change, for instance, the payload of the challenge parameter, we should also get the same response. Very good. So now one more thing that we will add is one test that we will usually skip in our test suites, but that will be very useful if we need to test our server automatically. So it's a test that will reach directly the running server, and we'll see if the endpoints are responding as expected. So here my server is not running, so if I run the PyTest command, this test will fail. But if I run my server, and I run again these tests, the server should return the expected response. Alright.